Hello, hello, welcome to this full moon in Capricorn. So we have the sun in Cancer and we have the moon in Capricorn. And this time the sun is conjunct Mercury. But let's start from the beginning. So we have this full moon happening on the 3rd of July, exactly in Lisbon time, 38 minutes past noon. And as I said, we have the sun conjunct Mercury. So we have Mercury Cazimi, or just out of it. And opposite to it, we have the moon. So starting by the sign of Cancer. The sign of Cancer is the archetype of the mother. And thinking about also the animal that represents Cancer. This sign which is the crab. It's what we usually say about the crabs. It's soft on the inside and hard on the outside. So we have this external shell that protects us, and that's where our inside, so our most vulnerable selves, feel comfortable and feel safe. So that's why this is the archetype of the mother, because the mother is supposed to give us that safety feeling and that sense of protection and care. So that's where we feel safe and nurtured emotionally, I mean. So having the sun in Cancer, of course, is being this kind of caregiver and having this kind of maternal behavior within ourselves. And Mercury conjunct the sun in Cancer, of course, brings this Mercurian mind, a water, an intuitive kind of touch. Not just intuitive, but also very sensitive. And so it's like our mind is prone to memorize what we are feeling or the way that a certain situation makes us feel. And of course, this is very important for anyone that is, of course, being born at the moment, or that has this kind of aspect in their birth charts, because having the sun conjunct Mercury in Cancer, of course, it brings this. It's like our mind is this memory box of all the situations, all the emotions that happened throughout our growth, and especially our childhood, that gets stuck in the depths of our subconscious. So this is the focus of this Mercury here, is to memorize and to be very sensitive to feelings, not just the others, not just the emotions and the feelings of others, but also myself, mine ones. So, and of course, this being opposite the moon, and the moon is the ruler of Cancer, which is now in the opposite sign of her home, let's say. Of course, this brings this kind of unbalanced way of using my mind and of being aware and productive with what I'm feeling. So the moon in Capricorn, of course, it's going to bring the reality check to the way that I'm feeling, and the usefulness of that feeling according to my goal, according to what I'm trying to achieve, which is Capricorn. So if I'm feeling something that I feel that kind of weakens my potential, or that makes me, for some reason, makes me pause or stumble, or I feel that kind of sensation when I allow myself to feel some kind of emotion, then this moon in Capricorn will push those emotions aside. But when actually used productively, it's about actually observing with a, a, observing emotions with a distant perspective. And so we have to learn here how to use our emotions, because the more we push them away, the more they actually go deeper and deeper and kind of solidify inside of us and get bigger, just like a snowball. So if I actually observe them and use them productively, or I understand what that emotion is actually trying to communicate with me, or what kind of action do I need to do with it for myself, for my own, to protect myself, or to move away from something, or to just express in a responsible way and a non-violent way the way that I'm feeling to someone, then that's what I need to do. And not just run away or try to escape from that emotion just because it's not comfortable, or it's not coming in the right moment for me at the right now. So this is about the way that I'm responsible also for my emotional states. And this opposite to Mercury here is, of course, the same kind of challenge, but now involving also the way that I'm speaking, the way that I'm communicating with other people around me, making me very prone to speak from a very emotional charged perspective. And so I have to be able to kind of distantiate myself, to observe my emotion, to observe the situation that I'm positioned, and actually try to communicate in a better way, still being vulnerable, because that's also the power of Mercury in Cancer, is about communicating from a very personal perspective and also intuitive in a bright side of this. It's using productively the memories that I can, and not just the memories that I can keep, and communicating in a very sensitive way, but also to to communicate in a very caring way, and to be aware of what is the emotional environment that I'm stepping into. So it has that understanding, that emotional, and it can have that emotional understanding of my surroundings if used correctly. But it can also be this very emotionally charged, or depending on the resentment, the level of shutting down of my emotions, depending on that level, I may actually communicate from a resentful kind of state, or from a very angry kind of state, or very sad, and not being able to actually understand what those emotions are bringing to me at the moment, or how can I actually use them productively to take a step, or to learn something about me, about the people that I'm surrounded by. And of course, this Cancer is, of course, the sign also related to the family, because usually that's where we have the first memories of safety, of emotional safety, or not, depending on the family. But whatever the memories are related to your family, then that's what will be triggered at this time. So that's why you'll have to become aware of what is present for you, and how you are now, from this moment in your life, how you are in charge of your emotions, of your um, of your feelings and how to communicate them with your family members, and also the people that are now surrounding yourself in your daily life. And this full moon, of course, has another aspect that I think can be very interesting here, which is the trine to Jupiter. They're both in Earth signs, so the moon in Capricorn, and then the Jupiter in Taurus, and they both speak the same language. So they both need the practicality, they both need the reality checks, they both need to feel safe and stable. They need concrete proofs of feelings, of beliefs, and so they communicate in the same way. But here, just a reminder, so Jupiter in Taurus, of course, it can bring this amplified state of gratitude for the abundance of resources, the abundance of life and of possibilities that nature is giving, and that our body provides to us. But it can also bring us that unsatisfied sensation of wanting more and more. And being in Taurus is like being like the endless pleasure. So we can also engage in this kind of feelings, and this is something that you can maybe notice in the next 2 weeks, that, or especially in the next week, that maybe when something is lacking for you, related to some kind of safety, even if it's in a total different area of your life, like some kind of feeling of lacking love, lacking care, lacking all the Cancer aspects, or the Cancer significations here. If you're lacking some kind of emotional support, for example, then you may seek for pleasure in the Taurus kind of areas. So food is the greatest source of pleasure for many, many of us, and is the one that is most related to the fluctuations of emotional states. So this is proved by psychology. So all the diet disorders, they come from this lack of something that is emotional. So this can be a source of information for you at this point, because this is a harmonious aspect here. This is a trine, so it can actually help us. It can be our compass here, basically, which is this understanding that maybe if I'm seeking too much for pleasure in food, maybe it's because I'm actually lacking something, or I'm resenting something. So this can actually give me a hint of what is happening inside myself, and also it can also bring this optimistic perspective towards whatever is going on with me, with my family members, with my loved ones, basically. It kind of brings me that positive, that positive perspective that whatever is going on, I'm gonna be safe. I'm gonna be okay. So it brings that sense of luck, kind of being protected in some way. So this can be, of course, very, very interesting, but I also recommend for you to just pay close attention to the way that you relate to your and yeah, I started by mentioning food, but it's not just about food, but the way that you relate to money, the way that you relate to your resources, the ones that you can generate and the ones that are coming to you in some kind of way, in as a result from your work. So this can give you a hint of what is happening inside and how you are relating to all those issues, the emotional issues related to the memories from your past, from your upbringing, and how they are now manifesting for you at the moment. And of course, this will happen for you in the areas of your life where you have Cancer and Capricorn and Taurus, let's say, but mainly the axis of Cancer and Capricorn, and other aspects that they may touch in your birth chart. So besides that, there are a few other aspects to mention here. One of them is that Venus is very, very close to Mars now, and it's like the closest that they will get. And soon Venus will start slowing down and stationing to become retrograde, and Mars will continue and it will move into Virgo. So they're now together, and of course, like this is powerful because we have the lovers of the zodiac. We have them in a fire sign, so where passion and joy is. It's the creative potential, the biggest creative potential. So we have here this ability to not only feel in love with ourselves, feel in love with life, feel in love with everyone around us, and of course flirting with life and with people around us in a much more enthusiastic way. But more than that, I think besides all that, it's a moment to bring the Leo, the bright side of Leo up, which is our authentic selves and our biggest talents and our biggest gifts. And of course, everyone has their own, and it's just something to just become aware and allow and allow people to see them without the need to hide away or to feel proud in any way, because there's nothing to be there's nothing to hide, the same way that there is nothing to show off in a negative way. It's just embrace what my creative potential, everything that is, and everyone is creative in some kind of way. So it's just about understanding what makes me happy, what makes my heart and my soul just bursting out of joy. What exactly gives me that kind of sensation, and how can I use that to in my benefit and to the benefit of others at some point, or just to inspire others to also seek for their own sources of joy and when I mean joy and passion is not just something that is external. It's like what do I do, and with whom, and in what kind of moments that gives me that kind of boost from my life. It doesn't have to be something super special. It has to be something that fulfills me, that fulfills my heart and my soul. So this is big, having this yeah, they're not in an exact conjunction, but it's still the closest that they get. And they're both in a square, so in a dynamic aspect with Uranus, which is in Taurus. And of course, Uranus gives this urgency and this need for some kind of an update. So maybe there is this update that is seeking to come. And of course, Uranus is being ruled by Venus, which is in Leo now. So it has this need for it's like an update to, or better than an update, is like it's going back to the real self. So maybe up until now we have been like putting on layers and yeah, on top of layers, and now we just have to like take them off and understand what's beneath, what's in the center of that, and what's real, what's raw, and see that as the brighter aspects that we can actually have, and how to enhance that. So like the revolution here or the update here, maybe it's not adding layers, but rather just taking them off. And this can create this kind of kind of sensation of not being in the right place, of or just being very restless, and not feeling quite the joy of it, or just it's like it vanishes very fast. So the more that I can take all the layers off, the more I will be able to actually enjoy what's the real pleasures of it. But it's normal also to feel this kind of restlessness, and also this just this sensation that is not quite my place yet, because it's unknown. So it's also normal to feel this kind of this in a sense is like this kind of electric shock, to do something different. And maybe the thing that we will try to do is to add layers on top of layers, but it's not about that. So it's about taking the layers off. So this can feel like quite unusual, and feel a bit just daunting. So it can create this kind of mind state of not being quite sure, and or maybe something kind of something external can also happen to bring this kind of restlessness, or just sensation of not being going in the right direction, for example. So this sensation of not being in the right place or in the right direction, and just feeling restless can be very present at the moment. And it's just about understanding what's here to tell us, what kind of update do we need to do, related to the way that we perceive ourselves, the way that we perceive our gifts, the way that we perceive our shine. And also, of course, when I say this, I also mean the way that I look at to others. So maybe if I'm not very aware of how I tend to perceive myself, and my own talents or my own gifts or my qualities, maybe I can see the way that I look up to others, who I look up to, who I don't perceive any kind of value or criticize even. So this kind of this exercise about the way I look to the people around me can also give me some kind of hint of how am I looking also to myself in the mirror. When I look in the mirror, what do I see? And yeah, and also, and the other aspect that it will come up at in just a few days after this full moon, which is the square. So again, a dynamic aspect in between Mercury and Chiron. And well, Chiron is the wounded healer, so everything that is wounded, of course, it's touched. And here with Mercury, it may be communicated in a not so very positive way, because especially when we are hurt is when we are when we have the biggest challenges in communication, and communication from a vulnerable and hurtful state. It's very difficult, and so it's here like this will be understanding. This will be interesting to watch, just to understand how this wounded perspective about my autonomy, so Aries, the way that I feel that I'm not autonomous, that I'm not that I have some kind of attack into my identity, into who I am. The more that I feel that, especially from loved ones or from the people that I grew up with, those will be the people that will hurt that the most. Of course, it usually is, but still here at this moment, this is highlighted. So every kind of little wound, especially coming from something from my upbringing, it's going to be highlighted. And of course, the way that I'll be able to communicate that is going to be crucial also, to either make that wound even bigger, or to actually start or at least to mend it, or to start to heal it. So again, I'll have to be very, very self-aware about the way that I'm feeling, about this kind of triggers that are coming from the past, and exactly where they're coming from, and how can I actually communicate them, and communicate from a perspective of a productive perspective, which means something that can actually bring me some kind of peace, and some kind of some kind of real peace. It's not just about like not going into conflict just for the sake of avoiding, but rather like just feeling at peace with myself, that I've done everything that I could, and that I can, I was able to change what was in my power to change. So within my actions, my behavior, with the way that I'm communicating, the way that I'm relating, I'm doing everything that I can to actually make a difference. So that's the point here. So let's see how this goes. And we'll see each other again on the new moon of Cancer, and this one can be actually very interesting as well. So I just wish you a very happy and light summer. Well, for the ones that are watching me in the northern hemisphere, and yeah, we'll speak soon. Bye bye.